Day and night and day, the living creatures give their praise to Him who lives eternally. They never cease from saying, Holy, holy is Yahweh Almighty, worthy, worthy to receive all glory.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Thank you for joining us. This is Walking in the Word. We are going to be reading our Torah portion today, week 3, and it is called Lech Lecha. We are so excited to be able to do this each and every week, just reading the Word line by line, precept to precept, so much that we can glean from the Scripture itself. We don't want to add anything or take anything away. We just want the Father's Word to be spoken. And so these have been such a blessing for us. We hope that it's blessing you through your week as well. So this week is, like I said, Lech Lecha, and that is go out. And the reading is going to be Genesis 12, verse 1, all the way through chapter 17, verse 27. So are you ready to get going?
I am.
All right, let's get our screen shared. And I will start it off. Chapter 12. Now yahuah said unto Avram, Get you out of your country, and from your kindred, and from your father's house, unto a land that I will show you. And I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you, and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless you, and curse him that curses you. And in you shall all families of the earth be blessed. So Avram departed, as yahuah had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Avram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Avram took Sarah, his woman, and Lot, his brother's son, and their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came. And Avram passed through the land unto the place of Shechem, unto the plain of Moreh, and the Canaanite was then in the land. And yahuah appeared unto Avram and said, Unto your seed will I give this land. And there built he an altar unto yahuah, who appeared unto him. And he removed from hence unto a mountain on the east of Bet-el, and pitched his tent, having Bet-el on the west, and Ai on the east. And there he built an altar unto yahuah, and called upon the name of yahuah. And Avram journeyed, going on still toward the Negev. And there was a famine in the land, and Avram went down into Mitzrayim to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land. And it came to pass, when he was come near to enter into Mitzrayim, that he said unto Sarai, his woman, Behold now, I know that you are a fair woman to look upon. Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Mitzrayim shall see you, that they shall say, This is his woman, and they will kill me, but they will save you alive. Say, I pray you, you are my sister, that it may be well with me for your sake, and my soul shall live because of you. And it came to pass, that when Avram was come into Mitzrayim, the Mitzrayim beheld the woman, that she was very fair. The princes also of Pharaoh saw her, and commended her before Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. And he entreated Avram well for her sake. And he had sheep and oxen, and he asses and men servants and maidservants, and she asses and camels. And yahuah plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarah, Avram's woman. And Pharaoh called Avram and said, What is this that you have done unto me? Why did you not tell me that she was your woman? Why said you, She is my sister, so I might have taken her to me to be my woman? Now therefore, behold your woman, take her and go your way. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his woman, and all that he had.
Chapter 13. And Avram went up out of Mitzrayim, he and his woman, and all that he had, and Lot with him into the Negev. And Avram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. And he went on his journeys from the Negev even to Beit El, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Beit El and Ahi, unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first. And there Abram called on the name of Yahweh. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. And the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was so great, so that they could not dwell together. And there was a strife between the herdsmen of Avram's cattle and the herdsmen of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land. And Avram said unto Lot, Let there be no strife, I pray you, between me and you, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we are brethren. Is not the whole land before you? Separate yourself, I pray you, from me. If you will take the left hand, then I will go to the right. Or if you depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left. And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the circle of the Yarden, that it was well watered everywhere before Yahweh destroyed Sedom and Amorah, even as the garden of Yahweh, like the land of Mitzrayim, as you come unto Zoar. Then Lot chose him all the circle of the Yarden, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves the one from the other. Avram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in the cities of the circle of the Yarden, and pitched his tent toward Sedom. But the men of Sedom were wicked and sinners before Yahweh exceedingly. And Yahweh said unto Avram, after that Lot was separated from him, Lift up now your eyes and look from the place where you are northward and southward and eastward and westward. For all the land which you see to you will I give it, and to your seed forever. And I will make your seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall your seed also be numbered. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto you. Then Avram removed his tent and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto Yahweh.
Chapter 14. And it came to pass in the days of Amphrael, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elasar, Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations, that these made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and with Bersha, king of Amorah, Shinav, king of Admah, and Shemiber, king of Teshuim, and the king of Bela, which is Sor. All these were joined together in the valley of Sedom, which is the salt sea. 12 years they served Kedorlaomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled. And in the 14th year came Kedorlaomer and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaim in Ashtaroth, Karnaim, and in Zulim and Chum, and the Amim in Shava Kiriatathim, and the Korim in the Mount Siri, and Eli Paran, which is by the wilderness. And they returned and came to Elin Mishpat, which is Kadash, and smote all the country of the Amalekim, and also the Ermim that dwelt in Satston Tamar. And there went out the king of Sidom, and the king of Amorah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Tesivim, and the king of Bela, the same as Sur, and they joined battle with them in the valley of Siddim, with Kedorlaomer, the king of Elam, and with Tidal, king of nations, and Amphrael, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elisar, 4 kings with 5. And the valley of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the king of Sidom and Amorah fled, and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountain. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Amorah, and all their victuals, and went their way. And they took Lot, Avram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. And there came one that had escaped, and told Avram the Avri, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Imri, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Avram. And when Avram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. And he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Horvah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Kedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with him at the valley of Shivi, which is the king's valley. And Melchizedek, king of Shalim, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of El Elyon. And he blessed him, and said, Blessed be Avram of El Elyon, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be El Elyon, which has delivered your enemies into your hand. And he gave him tithes of all. And the king of Sodom said unto El Avram, Give me the persons, and take the goods to yourself. And Avram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my hand unto El yahuah, El Elyon, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoelacet, and that I will not take anything that is yours, lest you should say, I have made Avram rich, save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Anur, Eshcol, and Mamre. Let them take their portion.
Chapter 15. After these things, the word of Yahweh came unto El Avram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Avram, I am your shield and your exceeding great reward. And Avram said, Adonai Yahweh, what will you give me? Seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eleazar of Damascus? And Avram said, Behold to me, you have given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is my heir. And behold, the word of Yahweh came unto him, saying, This shall not be your heir, but he that shall come forth out of your own generation shall be your heir. And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now toward the heavens and count the stars, if you be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall your seed be. And he believed in Yahweh, and he counted it to him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am Yahweh that brought you out of Ur of the Kasdim, to give you this land to inherit it. And he said, Adonai Yahweh, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, Take me a heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another, but the birds divided he not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. And you shall go to your fathers in peace. You shall be buried in a good old age. But in the 4th generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Emirim is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down, and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. In the same day Yahweh cut a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto your seed have I given this land, from the river of Mitzrayim unto the great river, the river Perath, the Kinaim, and the Kenizim, and the Kadmanim, and the Hittim, and the Perizim, and the Rephaim, and the Emarim, and the Canaim, and the Girgashim, and the Usim.
Chapter 16. Now Sarai, Avram's woman, bore him no children, and she had a handmaid, a Mitzri, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Avram, Behold now, yahuah has restrained me from bearing. I pray you, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Avram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. And Sarai, Avram's woman, took Hagar, her maid, the Mitzri, after Avram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her man Avram to be his woman. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said unto Avram, My wrong be upon you. I have given my maid into your bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. Yahuah judged between me and you. But Avram said unto Sarai, Behold, your maid is in your hand. Do to her as it pleases you. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. And the angel of Yahuah found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way of Sur. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence came you, and whither will you go? And she said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. And the angel of Yahuah said unto her, Return to your mistress, and submit yourself unto her hands. And the angel of Yahuah said unto her, I will multiply your seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the angel of Yahuah said unto her, Behold, you are with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because Yahuah has heard your affliction. And he will be a wild man, his hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. And she called the name of Yahuah that spoke unto her, El Roi, for she said, Have I also here looked after him that sees me? Wherefore the well was called Bir Lahi Roi. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bore Avram a son, and Avram called his son's name, which Hagar bore, Yishmael. And Avram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Avraham.
Chapter 17. And when Avram was 90 years old and 9, Yahweh appeared to Avram and said unto him, I am El Shaddai. Walk before me and be perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and you and will multiply you exceedingly. And Avram fell on his face, and Elohim talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be a father of many nations. Neither shall your name any more be called Avram, but your name shall be Avraham. For a father of many nations have I made you. And I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of you, and kings shall come out of you. And I will establish my covenant between me and you and your seed after you in their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be Elohim unto you and to your seed after you. And I will give unto you and to your seed after you the land wherein you are a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their Elohim. And Elohim said unto Abraham, You shall guard my covenant, therefore, you and your seed after you in their generations. This is my covenant, which ye shall guard between me and you and your seed after you. Every male child among you shall be circumcised, and ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a sign of the covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every male child in your generations. He that is born in the house or bought with your money must need to be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised male child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. And Elohim said unto Abraham, As for Sarah, your woman, you shall not call her Sarah, but Sarah shall be her name. And I will bless her and give you a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of peoples shall be of her. Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed, and said in his heart, Shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? And Abraham said unto Elohim, Oh, that Ishmael might live before you. And Elohim said, Sarah, your woman, shall bear you a son indeed, and you shall call his name yhvh. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with yhvh, which Sarah shall bear unto you at this set time in the next year. And he left off talking with him, and Elohim went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were bought with his money, every male child among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in the selfsame day as Elohim had said unto him. And Abraham was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And Ishmael his son was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and Ishmael his son, and all the men of his house, born in the house and bought with money of the stranger, were circumcised with him.
All right, well, that does it for week 3's Torah portion. We hope this message blessed you. If you're unfamiliar with some of these names, we are reading from the Cepher, which is the Hebrew translation. So sometimes they're a little trickier to say, but we feel it's very important to use the appropriate, correct names. So we hope that was a blessing. Please do join us Friday evening as we enter into Shabbat. We have our Friday fellowship on Let's Talk Torah, and that is at 7 p.m. Eastern, where we will be going over this portion and just discussing what we gleaned from it, some insights that we may have had. We love to also involve the live chat, so please come with any comments or questions you may have and fellowship with us. So thank you again. We hope this blesses you, and we will see you next week. Shalom.
Day and night and day, the living creatures give their praise to Him who